Good evening, everyone, and welcome to season 4, episode 13 of The Buzz with yours truly, Mama T. No, you are not going crazy. It is Tuesday, 7 p.m. It is not a Sunday like we normally go live. Our guest tonight, we've had him on before, but he had a new release and he had to take a last minute flight on Sunday. And I wanted to have this guy live just for you guys. We needed to have him live. So we decided we were going to go live tonight instead. So I hope you're watching because you're going to love this guy. His name is Rafe Carlson. And he just did a wreck of the Edmonds Fitzgerald. So stay tuned. We're going to hear a quick word from Grand Forks Best Source, and we'll bring him on. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Grand Forks Best Source. They're a cutting-edge local media broadcasting studio with captivating shows, on-location event coverage, and unparalleled advertising opportunities. Grand Forks Best Source has become a haven for podcasters like me seeking to bring their visions alive. If you're a podcaster looking for studio or platform, or a local business seeking to advertise, go ahead and email Paul at local@gfbestsource.com. You can call him at 701-740-9337, or you can go to their website that's listed on your screen there, gfbestsource.com. Tell them Mama T sent you.
Driving alone sometimes, turn left when I ought to turn right. Big city lights, big city lights. You're a long way from the world beside the little white church that you grew up by. I bet you wish you were sitting here looking at the stars on a summer night. 'Cause one day you're gonna find a little city boy don't know how to treat you right. I've been waiting on the front porch every little night. If it ever gets too bright under the big city light. If you know you like it more, baby, I got you missing in my soul, baby. From your high class living in your high rise prison, you wanna come home to me. 'Cause you're a long way from the welcome sign in the little white church that you grew up by. I bet you wishing you were sitting here looking at the stars on a summer night. 'Cause one day you're gonna find a little city boy don't know how to treat you right. I've been waiting on the front porch every little night. Oh, if it ever gets too bright, if it ever gets too bright, under the big city light, the big city light.
Here we are. Hi.
doing?
Welcome back to the show, Rafe. I'm so glad you can join us. I know you got a lot going on. You're a busy man.
It's been, I was going to say it's been a crazy year, but it's already the next year, which happened all of a sudden, just like that. But thanks for having me back. It's been fun.
Yeah. So tell me about that video.
That's just a compilation of last summer's worth of touring and just playing shows all over the Midwest, and little here, little there, a lot of beer and a lot of parties and late nights and a lot of hard work. Just been a crazy year. I mean, like we were talking the other day, it's like all the things that we did this year, it's probably like normally like what I would do in like 5 years packed into 1 year. So it was surreal. A lot of pinch me moments, a lot of just crazy times. It was a lot of fun.
Wow. And that was called Loud America?
That is Loud America. We are living in it.
Ha.
I don't know. That's the name of the. We kind of like, kind of. It's like people ask all the time, like, "What's your genre? Are you country? Are you rock? Are you this? Are you that?" And it's just like, we're loud American music. We play loud. We kick ass, light things on fire, and we do all that. So it's not. It's not as much confined within a genre these days. You kind of don't have to be as much. So we just make music that speaks to us. It comes from the heart, and we go out there and play it as loud as we can.
Awesome. That's awesome. I love who doesn't love loud music? Well, old
Well,
people, I
some
guess.
people.
Old people don't. So tell me, how did you get into music in the first place? What are your roots? Yeah, did you have a supportive family?
Yeah, my mom was in country bands in the 1980s, and she would always sing to me when I was a kid. I grew up singing in the car seat, Bon Jovi, Rascal Flatts, a little bit of everything, a lot of country, rock and roll, singer songwriter stuff like John Denver. Every kid loves John Denver. And yeah, just musical family. My dad's side of the family, real musical too. Like a lot of cousins. My cousins play guitar in rock bands and stuff like that. So both sides of my mom's side and my dad's side are both super musical.
Sorry, I just got company. They know I'm live, but my dog doesn't realize that I'm live. So yeah. Hi Allie. Hi Don. And anytime during the show, if you guys want to comment, ask. Oh, Laddie Boy too. Goodness gracious. Well, they're all hopping up. We 5 live viewers right now, and this is not our normal time. So if you guys
It's a
have
party.
any questions for Rafe, you go ahead and ask him. Oh,
Ask
yeah.
away.
So, how did you actually start doing music? Like,
Yeah. I didn't really know like how it went. Like I think kind of the narrative is you're never gonna make money in music, and you're gonna stand on the side of the street and play guitar, and hopefully people throw a dollar in a jar for you. And that was kind of what I thought growing up. It's like you get a degree and go to school and work and do the whole thing. And I worked a few jobs after high school, and I was working selling RVs and motorhomes in travel trailers in Duluth. And I just woke up one day on my day off, and I said, I'm gonna see what happens if I just grab my guitar and take a little drive to the town over, because I was too scared I'd run into someone I know if I did at my own town. Set up and put a tip jar out on the side of the sidewalk and see what happens. And played for like 45 minutes, and had a good little crowd of people stop and listen. And I don't remember if I made $40 or $50 or something, and gave my 2 weeks the next day. Just said, I'm going to figure out a way to make it work. So I never played a show before that. I'd sang for a select few, friends and family. I posted a couple of videos of me singing online, I think, at that point. But yeah, it was just
how long
like,
ago was that?
that was May. Well, that would have been April 2021. And then I quit my job. My last day was the end of April. May 1st, first day as an unemployed hobo. And then I just kind of figured it out from there. But I think May 18th, I played my first show ever on the side of the street at Vikra in downtown Duluth to like 7 people. It was May 18th, freezing cold. I don't even know how people were outside, but a couple of my buddies came out, and it was, I'm surprised anyone was there. It was freezing cold, but it was cool. And then I played a couple shows after that, flew to Nashville about a week after that, started writing, recording music, and it's crazy to look back on. I was just thinking about talking to someone about this last week. It's like a lot of things that happened in that frame of time was like, so jam packed. Like, played my first show, wrote my first songs, recorded my first songs, flew to Nashville for the first time. Started writing with just award-winning songwriters, producers, and stuff, all within the span of, less than a month, a couple weeks, really. So it's just a lot all at once.
Wow. Oh, we do have a viewer comment. And yes, I think he knows this already. And I think the first time he was on, Dwight and I kept going like this. But my friend Allie says, "Can I say your guest is gorgeous?"
My what's
Yes.
that?
Can I say your guest is gorgeous?
Oh, I
Yes,
thought
of
you
course
said
you
my
can say
my
that.
Gus is gorgeous. I was like, who's Gus? Oh, thank
No.
you.
So, oh, she also wants to know what is one of your most memorable times so far within the music business?
That's a good question. There's just been so even just this year, even the past few months, things I'd never thought I'd experience, and just people I've never thought I'd meet. A lot of fun. Like we try to have fun. I think one of the things this summer we most memorable. We were backstage at WeFest after we got done playing, and we were wearing these um, fox pelts. Like I was wearing a red fox hat, like a full fox, so down my like tailbone, just the whole thing. And my other guitar player was wearing a blue fox pelt, and my other one was wearing a coyote pelt.
Mm.
And it was a hot day in Minnesota that day, and we were sweating. I don't think we had shirts on. We just looked like we just conquered the northern frontier or something. And we came off, and Megan Maroney's whole band was standing outside their bus, and they thought we just like looked like a bunch of freaking rednecks, and they were like probably not expecting that in Minnesota, but we like to surprise people.
We already have another guest question. Do you get nervous? I'm guessing when you're on stage. And if so, what do you do to help with that?
Yeah, if things are going the way they're supposed to, which we've had, a little more locked in protocol the last tour and the tour before that, I'm totally fine. It's when you're getting on stage and your monitors aren't working, or you're getting on stage and someone like shouts something like, "Oh, you know, don't forget to do this," or like something like you hadn't had planned. Like when things aren't accounted for and things are going wrong when you're getting on stage, that always messes with me. So we try to eliminate that. Um, and a lot of artists, yeah, once you're touring nationally and with a major label and you got songs on the radio and you're doing the whole thing, typically you're on your bus and everyone's doing all this stuff for you, and you just walk out and take your pajamas off, throw on your jeans, and get on stage and sing. And I can't do that. I just do everything on my own, book the shows, and plan it all out. So I don't have the luxury to not worry about things. So when I'm worrying before I get on stage, sometimes I get nervous because of that. But no, if everything's going smooth, no matter how many people we're playing for, where we're playing, or what the event is, we come out excited, just ready to rock wherever we are.
So you're just born to be in front of people. Were you like that as a kid too?
I don't know. I mean, my family would probably say so. I think I've always been more of like music first, like art first, which is really funny. Like when I started this, I was like songwriting focused, guitar focused, instrument focused, composition focused, like being an artist. I listened to a lot of folk music in the late 2010s and a lot of singer songwriter stuff, and since I've started doing it, I've kind of shifted priorities to become, I think, more of a performer, which I definitely wasn't when I started. I had to learn how to do that, and it's become my favorite thing is performing. More than songwriting, more than any of it. I love being on stage with the band, which, like I said, was not really why I got into it. I think I got into it to make really good music, and it just became just my favorite thing to do. That's why we tour May through September. We're on the road playing as much as we can every weekend. Sometimes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Wow. You are busy. You mentioned the vocals and the guitar, but you also mentioned other instruments. Did you ever have lessons, and what all do you play?
I never had formal guitar lessons just because my family, like I said, was really musical. So my mom taught me how to play guitar. I learned a lot from my cousins, Steve and Dave, my cousin Nick, you know, singing lessons. I took a couple down here in Nashville with Ron Browning, and he's incredible. I took a couple this last summer out in LA. But, beyond that, just pretty self-taught when it comes to instruments and singing and all that. I don't play any other, I don't advertise that I play any other instruments. I mean, I can play bass and, little banjo, mandolin, whatever, anything with strings on it, but definitely not proficient in any of those.
You wouldn't get on stage with anything but your guitar.
It'd be a funny show. We might try it sometime just as like more of a comedy thing.
Go on the road on a comedy tour.
The comedy tour, the Rafe Plays the Drums tour.
So where all have you traveled to? You go out and you're out there all the time. Where all have you been? Where have people maybe have seen you?
Like we primarily tour in the Midwest. And that was something this year because we get so many, every single day we get messages like, you got to come to New Jersey, you got to come to Switzerland, you got to come to Florida, you got to come to California. So this year and next year, 2027, we're already looking at dates where we're really spreading out. I think there's this kind of barrier in people's heads, like you're not a national act, you're not touring nationally and really having anything to show for it unless you're signed to some big label and you have songs on the radio. And it's like, well, we have songs that play on the radio in Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin sometimes if we get radio play up that way. But we're not by any means yet, a major act that everyone knows our name. But that really doesn't mean that we can't tour nationally. You just have to be smart about it, Look at your analytics or your fans that are listening to your music on Spotify in this certain area in New York or North Carolina or something. So we're looking at a lot of those analytics going into this year and next year. And we're branching out. I'm flying to California in a couple weeks to do a whole like Florida tour. So I'm going from Nashville to Florida for 5 shows and then flying back to Minnesota for 4 or 5 shows and then back to Nashville for a couple shows, out to Arizona, California. So this is all kind of off-season stuff. And then when, in the summertime, starting in May, we're back, with the band on the road, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Dakotas, Illinois.
Well, a lot of my fan base is here in Minnesota. That's where I'm based. So I'm wondering where and when you're going to be up here.
Yeah. I'd have to double check, but between my tour manager and I, we're really cranking away on booking shows for next summer. So we've got a lot in the books. I wouldn't know off the top of my head. In your neck of the woods, I wouldn't know.
Now we know you are from Minnesota because you said neck of the woods.
Yeah. I mean, we're all over Minnesota. We got a lot of shows in Minnesota next year. We're doing Lakes Jam and Brainerd with Bailey Zimmerman, Tucker Wetmore. We're going to be at Windstock with Luke Bryan and Dirk Bentley.
Wow.
What else? There's a few other good festivals in Minnesota, a lot of small town stuff, some fairs, this and that.
Awesome. Well, we do have to cut to commercial. We're going to hear from our good supporters here and there in the area, and then we are going to go straight to the wreck of the Edmonds Fitzgerald. I can't wait. Yeah. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When it comes to podcasts and social media, stick with the best. Grand Forks' best source. Keep up to date with local happenings and news, interviews with city leaders, athletes, nonprofits, and of course, lots of feel-good stories. Grand Forks' best source is a great way to advertise your business or events with the most economical ad packages available. And contact us to find out how you can have your own podcast with the best studio in the area. Check out Grand Forks' best source on your favorite social media app. Grand Forks' best source, the Forks' best local podcast. Call 701-213-0863 or online at gfbestsource.com. We love the Forks. Grand Forks' best source, giving the Forks their identity again.
What's up, Red Lake Nation Radio? This is your host, DJ Soko. Come join me if you're Acer Donnell from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Soko Saturday where I have a new segment, Soco's Metal Madness Hour from 7 to 8 p.m., bringing the North all the new and classic metal to the masses. The first 3 hours will be the old school hits, the rock and roll classics, and all other genres of music. Even country. So come take a cruise with me, DJ Soco, bringing the fire right here on 105.3 WRLN, Red Lake Nation Radio. Yeah.
Pioneer 90.1 is a radio station like none other. Local people get to host their own shows, sharing music not heard on other stations. We partner with area nonprofits to present community events like Riverfest. As a non-commercial service, we rely on listeners like you to help us grow this one-of-a-kind radio station, made just for our community. Thank you for your donation.
Hey everybody. Season 2 of Adulting with Jake is underway, but while you wait, you can always relive Adulting 101 Season 1 and every excruciating detail and every terrible pun, lame joke, and frankly, every poorly acted scene. Out now on our channel, CookingWithJakeShow.com.
Visit LittleBobbyBuzz.com, your source for Little Bobby merch and music. Keep up with the bar, and don't forget about the buzz with Mama T. That's LittleBobbyBuzz.com.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa down to the big lake they call Gitche-Gumee. The lake, it is said, never gives up a day when the skies in November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. The good ship in true was a bone to be chewed when the gales in November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, including some times with a couple steel firms where they left fully loaded for Cleveland. And later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling? The wind and the wire made a tattletale sound, and a wave broke over the railing. And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas a witch in November come stealing. Dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of a hurricane west wind. Supper time came, the old cook came on deck saying, fellas, it's too rough to feed you. At 7 p.m. the main hatchway caved in. He said, fellas, it's been good to know you. The captain wired in, he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. And later that night, when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. when the waves turn the minutes to hours. The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her. They might have split up or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. All that remains is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters. Lake Huron Road, Superior sings in the rooms of her ice water mansions. Oh, Michigan seems like a young man's dream. The islands and bays are for sportsmen. Farther below Lake Ontario takes in the Lake Erie Consent. And the Iron Boys go as the mirrors all know, with the gales of November, remember. In a musty old hall in Detroit they prayed at the Maritime Sailors Cathedral. The church bell had chimed till it rang 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald. The legend lives on from the Chippewa down to the big lake they call Gitche-Gumee. Superior, they said, never gives up the dead when the gales of November come early.
That was beautiful.
Thank
Let
you.
me-
You like it?
That okay. I was going to ask the obvious question, what drew you to that song? But you are from Duluth, so it's kind of a natural thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to that song and Gordon Lightfoot. I'm a huge Gordon Lightfoot fan. A lot of, way back to his first couple records, I used to listen to those a lot. You know, our area just doesn't have enough, like, if you sing about being from Tennessee on the radio, nobody bats an eye because that's sing about Tennessee in every song. You know what I mean? But for me, it was just like a regional identity thing where it's like, okay, fine. It's like we have this one song. It's like we have this one thing where I'm from that I can relate to. My dad, I mean, not personally, I wasn't born, but my dad was eating lunch in the cafeteria at Central High School up on the hill in Duluth, watching the waves come in that crash against the lift bridge. And he tells me that story was like his biggest storm he's ever seen on the lake, just big white caps. And everyone's got a story from someone or other about not even just the Fitzgerald, but Lake Superior stories. It's such a huge body of water, and it's a lot of stories. A lot of people have died in Lake Superior, and I think to do a song like that for me, I mean, it's a 6.5 minute song in general is hard for people to even listen to these days. People like minute and a half songs. And people are trying to write. I'm like writing music with people these days in Nashville. They're trying to write songs under 2 minutes now. It's just crazy. But
People's attention spans have gotten so short.
yeah, that's why a lot of people try to talk me out of doing it, and people were like, "You got to cut a verse or cut 2 verses," and I was like, "I'm not expecting to, I'm not trying to be Justin Bieber with this song, and it's just like I'm doing this because it's part of who I am, where I grew up.
Yep, and you can't cut any of that out. That's it's an identity thing. You don't leave stuff out of that. That's telling people who you are and where you're from, and you're proud of it. You cut it, and maybe you're not so proud of that verse. What? Yeah. So we do have other people. We've got more questions. We were talking about being out there, being on the road, and what you got coming up. Would I didn't even see that one. Allie also says you were talking about you can play anything with strings, and she made a comment. She's got a few strings. Um,
I
she
love this
also wants
podcast.
she also wants to know, would you ever play at a casino? And Laddie Boy, he's a drummer, and he says drums are awesome, and he wants to know about the West Theater in Duluth. Have you played there?
I've talked to them a handful of times about trying to set something up, and really just because we're on the road so much. In the summertime, we play Duluth usually 2 or 3 times, and it's Bayfront. Sometimes we'll do, I say Duluth, I'm talking like Twin Ports. Sometimes we'll do something at Earth Rider over in Superior on their outdoor. Although last time we did that, it got rained out and we had to go inside. But we try to do as much outdoors as we can. So the West Theater is something I definitely consider doing in the wintertime if we're back up for a short period of time from Nashville. I'm going to be back up that way in February doing 218 days up at Grand Superior Lodge. And we're doing a ticketed deal for Valentine's Day at Duluth Whiskey Project, which has kind of become a little spot I like to stop in and do a cheap ticketed show, announce it a week or two out. And we just did that for the release of the Fitzgerald song. And it sold out right away. People drove from all over the place, came, stayed in hotels, got to hear so many cool stories. Me and Jack, my guitar player, he came and did that show with me. We just did like a little duo show. And we probably spent more time talking to people after the show and hearing about where they came from and, what the song means to them. We probably spent more time doing that than on stage. We were there for, we probably closed the place down. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds like a blast. And hearing all people, see, I love hearing people's stories. Obviously, that's why I do this, Well, the reason I got started and continue doing it is to carry on Little Bobby's legacies, keep the music alive, support the musicians that play the music, and bring the music to the kids. That's why this is a PG-13 show. We don't drink, we don't cuss, we don't smoke. I know, no fun, but I have a Monday show that I do all those things on, so I can be goofy. Oh, Don wants to know if you're doing big names like that, he should come to We Fest Detroit Lakes or Carlsted for Kicking Up Country.
Yeah. We did We Fest this last year, 2025, on I think it was the Saturday of We Fest. And that was a party. It was a good time. And then we drove, because we played Ashley for the Arts the next night with that was like Brad Paisley and ZZ Top and Third Eye Blind. And we drove through the night. I think we stayed in Sauk Center or something. And woke up the next day and drove all the way to Arcadia, which is one thing when you have a driver and a tour bus. But when you're kind of, doing it like how we do it, just bootstrapping your whole way through this thing, it's kind of, it's a big deal to drive that far in a day, basically. But yeah, that was a crazy weekend. We did We Fest August 8th, I think, this last year. We did We Fest. The next day we did Ashley for the Arts on the 9th. And then I played solo shows August 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. And then we had another full band show the following weekend up in McGregor on the 16th. And we headlined a little festival called Lodgepalooza. It was like nonstop 2 weeks on the road for me, I think, without it was like 12 days or something without a break, singing every night, which is fun, maybe once a year. But by the end of that, you're pretty wiped out. I remember being pretty tired by the end of that.
Do you get some vocal fatigue going on?
Yeah, I try not to. The big vocal fatigue thing is when you play these 3-4 hour shows where you're kind of just background music in a bar, and I don't do as many of those as I used to do. We try to do like festival sets where we can give it everything we have for 60 minutes or 90 minutes, and it's not really for me. Like everyone's voice is different, I feel like, but it's not like how much I give it in a short period of time. If I'm singing 3 hours in a night and then singing 3 hours the next night, 3 hours the next night, that's when I get worn out, But I got, some good vocal techniques that I try to do, but I'm usually not good about doing them when we're on the road or having too much fun and I forget.
Yeah, I can relate. Little Bobby did get me singing again, and it was just, karaoke, but everybody would always call me up there, and I love to sing, but, after he passed, I just kind of didn't go out there and do anything except like when I'm drinking in my friend's garage. Well, this last time I did that, I lost my voice for a week. I couldn't even do the podcast. And I was like, yeah. And that's never happened to me my whole life. So, but I was pretty much scream singing for 2 nights in a row. So, yeah.
It's funny what does it too, because I could sing for hours a night, multiple nights, and usually be fine. But then I could be like in my living room trying to record a video of me singing a song and do like 8 takes until I get the right one in front of the camera. And my voice is totally shot by the end. And I don't know if that's just singing the same thing over and over thing or what it is, but it's funny. Like if I'm sitting at home singing or if I'm writing music in my living room, I can lose my voice from that. But being on stage, part of it also could be having monitors. I don't have to sing so loud. I can hear myself.
Oh, right.
If you're writing a song with multiple people and you're all banging on the guitars, you kind of got to shout over people to get your point across sometimes, but that could be it. I don't know.
We do have a joke. We're going to do a joke of the day provided to us by our wonderful producer. What's the difference between a pizza and a drummer? Any guesses out there? Apparently a pizza can feed a family of 4.
Should be a musician.
Yeah, that could be not just the drummer. I mean, it's yeah, it checks. Let's see. There is also the drummer that's watching. No, you didn't like that one. We do have to cut to another commercial. I have a couple more comments to read too, but when we come out of this commercial, we're going to watch a video clip of you in Duluth, and you can tell us about that. And then we'll chat some more, get some more viewer questions if they have any. And we do have some announcements, some local announcements we're going to make too. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When it comes to podcasts and social media, stick with the best. Grand Forks' best source. Keep up to date with local happenings and news, interviews with city leaders, athletes, nonprofits, and of course, lots of feel-good stories. Grand Forks' best source is a great way to advertise your business or events with the most economical ad packages available. And contact us to find out how you can have your own podcast with the best studio in the area. Check out Grand Forks' best source on your favorite social media app. Grand Forks' best source, the Forks' best local podcast. Call 701-213-0863 or online at gfbestsource.com. We love the Forks. Grand Forks' best source, giving the Forks their identity again.
What's up, Red Lake Nation Radio? This is your host, DJ Soko. Come join me if you're Acer Donnell from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Soko Saturday, where I have a new segment, Soko's Metal Madness Hour from 7 to 8 p.m., bringing the North all the new and classic metal to the masses. The first 3 hours will be the old school hits, the rock and roll classics, and all other genres of music. Even country. So come take a cruise with me, DJ Soko, bringing the fire right here on 105.3 WRLN, Red Lake Nation Radio. Yeah.
Pioneer 90.1 is a radio station like none other. Local people get to host their own shows, sharing music not heard on other stations. We partner with area nonprofits to present community events like Riverfest. As a non-commercial service, we rely on listeners like you to help us grow this one-of-a-kind radio station, made just for our community. Thank you for your donation.
Hey everybody. Season 2 of Adulting with Jake is underway, but while you wait, you can always relive Adulting 101 Season 1 and every excruciating detail and every terrible pun, lame joke, and frankly, every poorly acted scene out now on our channel, CookingWithJakeShow.com.
Visit littlebobbybuzz.com, your source for Little Bobby merch and music. Keep up with the bar and don't forget about the buzz with Mama T. That's littlebobbybuzz.com.
We're here in Superior, Wisconsin. We're going to check out the brand new Edmund Fitzgerald Memorial they just put up. If we've not met before, my name is Rafe. I'm from Duluth, Minnesota, just right over there across the water. I just put out a cover, a wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, sitting at about 40,000 streams. I appreciate you guys checking it out. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Brand new monument they just put up on the anniversary of when it left Superior. Right over there, it's Burlington. It's not in service anymore.
When supper time came, the old cook came on deck saying, fellas, it's too rough to feed you. At 7 p.m. the main hatchway caved in.
It's beer 30. It's Monday. We're in Superior, Wisconsin, so you know what that means.
The captain wired in, he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril.
You know where we are. We're at the legendary Anchor Bar in Superior, Wisconsin. Let's check it out.
The wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
That was a good time. So here we are in East End, Superior. We decided to come to the place where the Edmund Fitzgerald actually left from before it went out on Lake Superior and eventually sank.
Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours?
I'll take you on a walk. So you can see all these trains will come in, a lot of them carrying iron ore from the Minnesota Iron Range. We have the Minnesota Iron Range to thank for winning World War II, first of all, and building the skylines of a lot of major cities. This is where the trains will come in with the iron ore, drop the iron ore into the big freighters, head out on Lake Superior, through the Sioux Locks, through all the lakes. You can see it's posted right here. And actually obey the rules tonight. Here we have it, folks. Last place the Edmund Fitzgerald was before she went down in Lake Superior on November 10th, 1975.
Cool. A little history lesson there. Oh, okay, I didn't have my proper background on the video. I guess I didn't realize which one he was playing. So, that was awesome. That was very informational, and I didn't realize that it went down when I was I think a year and 4 months old. Yeah, I just aged myself, didn't I?
I didn't know any of what I was talking about. I didn't, I had a few beers. I wasn't really probably best suited to give a history lesson, but
you did a good job. I never would have guessed if you hadn't said anything.
I don't even know if any of it's accurate. I just kind of made a lot of it up, but I think it's mostly accurate.
We want to know if you play at private events.
Oh yeah, we still do some of that. I do a lot of private events solo, just me and my guitar. People like that. It ends up being kind of an intimate, meet and greet thing too. And yeah, there's always a way to do pretty much any event we can make happen.
There was one question. Okay, there was two questions I need to ask you. If you were ever going to do a collaboration with anybody, who would it be and why?
I mean, I'd still love to do something with Chris Stapleton, just because I don't think I would be doing music, but I don't know if I would be the same artist I am. Because he kind of got me back into country when in my angsty teenage years, and I quit listening. It was like Florida Georgia Line was out and stuff like that, and I kind of lost interest. And I started listening to Slipknot and Pantera, and probably 2015, whenever his album came out, I heard Parachute for the first time, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. So I would love to do something with him. He's on top of the world, though. I mean, we saw him long before I ever did music. After I graduated high school, we saw him in Duluth in 2017 at Amsoil Arena. And that was one of those shows that kind of planted a seed maybe, and kind of changed the trajectory of what I was going to do. I knew at that point I wanted to do music, but I didn't know that I knew, if that makes sense.
And I think it was, okay, so Bobby had a story about him too, that like right before he got famous, he was just like playing this dive bar somewhere, and he was like, this guy's cool, this guy's really cool. I hope he goes somewhere. We met him, and he's personable and everything, and a few years later, there he is, big, and that's all they listen to now. That's all his family. Like his dad had passed away a year, 2019, I believe, and that's all they listen to. Like Chris Stapleton all the time. He got me into Chris Stapleton too, and those are a few of those songs that I do karaoke. That's and that Holy that's Florida Georgia Line, right?
Yeah,
Holy, yeah. Those are fun. And like I said, part of the legacy is Bobby always supported the youth in their journey into the music industry. He would give guitars away. He would be at a parade and just like hand out guitars to these kids. Like it was crazy. And he had a guy here teaching the kids how to play harmonica. He'd have little workshops and show the kids how to play guitar. I mean, so what advice would you give to the youth if they were interested in the music business?
Well, it's one thing, because for me, I mean, I was never interested in the music business as much as I was just I wanted to sing. I just wanted to sing and make music, and I didn't really know what that meant. But you got to explore to know what you want. Like you think you know what you want, but then you start doing it, and you might change your mind. I think the best thing you can do as a kid, or just even as a teenager, young adult, is just put yourself out there and start knocking on doors and making calls. If you really want to get out there and perform and write music, and you got to meet the right people. It starts with who you know. But you can do a lot on your own in your bedroom too. I mean, like look at all these people popping up on TikTok and never played a show before. They got 1 million followers, and their music is getting streamed left and right. So there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, But as a kid, I think what's most important is to meet people, and you'll meet people that are doing what you want to do, and you might decide you don't want to do that, or you'll meet someone. Expose yourself to new genres, expose yourself to people that make kinds of music that you don't like, and learn while you're a kid. I think that's the most important thing you can do. Just learn as much as you can.
And never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up. Never give up. So we've got 9 minutes left. Do we have any more questions from the audience? Hi, sweetie. Sweetie's watching. see. Did you ever feel like giving up? Did you ever feel like, no, you know what? I don't think I can do this anymore.
Yeah, all the time. Like not every day, but maybe a couple times a week. Yeah, for the past five years.
What keeps you going?
um, that is whatever is. That's a good question. I'm trying to figure out the right way to articulate that. But like whatever is the driving force behind. I don't know the prophecy. The prophecy keeps me going.
You know, the calling.
Yeah,
I gotcha. I gotcha. You know, it's you know, this is what you were meant to be, and yeah, I'm
I
sure there's a
can't
lot of.
not do it, so I just do it because I can't not do it. But it's like so much harder than any job I've ever had, and so much more soul crushing at times than anything I can think of. You know, as far as like work stuff, like it's a job that is at times so just completely unforgiving. Um, and that's kind of what separates the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. I mean, like you're gonna get people that quit with the first taste of discomfort, or the first big no you get, or the first big letdown. You'll have something that you put aside 5 months of your life for, and it doesn't pan out all the time. It's just like you have to like have no other option. I think you have to just do it and never quit.
And you know, and I bet you, I can just imagine, you know, you're feeling like quitting. Oh my gosh, here's the gig. All right, I got all my stuff in order, everything's set up, and you get up there and you see that crowd and they start cheering. That's got to do something for it too.
Yeah, totally. That's kind of like a fleeting thing. And what I try to remind myself, at least, is like a high like that is always accompanied by an equally low. And the music business is up and down all the time. And so if you're relying, it's one thing to appreciate moments like that, but if you're relying on them, you're not going to make it really far. You know.
You got to do it because you love it. You can't do it because you want to be successful. I mean, yes, there's a want to be successful, of course, but that can't be the driving force because let's face it, the music industry is hard. Do it because you love it and things will fall into place. I mean, if you're
Right.
talented enough, you got to be talented too. I mean, you need that part too. Um, we do have a couple more questions. Have you ever sang to support a charity, or is that something you would ever do?
Oh yeah, many times. Yeah, done a
What
lot of
what
stuff with
charities?
23rd Veteran. I've done stuff for Invisible Wounds Project. I've done stuff with Folds of Honor. Yeah, there you
Yes,
go.
we
Yeah,
support the veterans around here.
we do stuff with Folds of Honor. I'm going to be doing more for them this next year. I'm coming back for a couple private events in Minneapolis next month. I'm flying back up for a benefit for, I believe, a blood cancer benefit, and then the next night is for a children's hospital, I believe. So 2 nights in a row. So I do stuff like that all the time, as much as I can. But I
That's
try
awesome.
try to do it kind of on a shoestring budget. You know, if we're doing a full band thing, I got to pay my guys, but
Right,
I don't want the whole budget for an event like that going to the music. Like,
right.
you know, it's one thing. Like, you know, the guy running sound has to get paid. The guy,
Yeah,
working security's got to get paid.
yeah.
But myself, I like moments like that when I can give back a little bit. So I'm always up for something like that.
Oh my goodness. See, he's talented, he's cute, and he gives back to the. You better tell my audience whether you're single or not, because you know,
I just got married in October.
off the markets, ladies. He's off the market.
We got married in Hillsdale, Wisconsin, in a big old redneck rock and roll wedding.
Awesome. That is so awesome.
It was a good
And
time.
she
We had
knew
a cow. We had all sorts of animals.
And we've got time for one more question, and then we have to do our congratulations. Where was the first place you sat in as a young lad and played a live show?
Sat in. I think the first show I ever played would have been there's a super fun summertime show that my cousin Steve puts on every year, the 4th of July weekend. And I think it used to just be called Independence Day Bash or something. It used to just be unnamed, and we used to have it at my uncle's cabin on Island Lake north of Duluth there. And it turned into something so big that it wasn't friends and family more. It was just hundreds of people, and no one knew who anyone was. And the cops came all the time, and the cops just had a presence there after a certain number of years because they knew it would get crazy. And it got too big, too many injuries, and drunk driving stuff. And so I think probably around 2017, 2018, they moved it to the park on Island Lake, right by the Island Lake Inn. And my cousin Nick was doing like an acoustic opening show, I think, for the bands later on. And I got up with him and sang a couple songs. I think that was probably 2019 would have been the first time. And then I think I did the same thing in 2020. And then I played my first actual show in May 2021.
Well, you know what? I thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing all your stories. I'm just overwhelmed. Like it's I know it's been a short journey compared to a lot, but it's been long. It's been a long, hard road, and thank you for doing it and putting out the music. Thanks for being my guest.
Of course. Thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you to the viewers for tuning in, and I know it's not the right day. You're not going crazy. Um, let's see. We do this every Sunday. Oh yeah, next week is Bambi Alexandra. Oh, she is at the IBCs right now representing Minnesota, and she just released a new album. So we're going to bring her on next weekend. Another announcement. Katie's Place, formerly known as Little Bobby's. Yeah, there he goes. I knew he was going to do it. On the 17th and on the 31st from 1 until 3, $10 per person. Bonfire, free hot dogs, hot chocolate, fundraiser for the Macintosh 4th of July celebration. Formerly known as Little Bobby's, it's currently Katie's Place and soon to be the 295. So the cornhole in the snow thing, that is going to be used to, on both dates, the 17th and 31st, is going to be used to fund the 4th of July celebration. And then, let's see, we've got Project Constellation, February 6th at 6 p.m. And Elvis at February 13th at 5. Come renew your vows or have a commitment ceremony. Limited availability, so call over there 218-563-3008 if you want to set something up. And then on March 21st, 7 to 10 p.m. is the Honky Tonk Troubadours. So go on Facebook, find Little Bobby's Bar and Grill, and check out their lineup and their stuff that's going on. Every Tuesday, our show, well, obviously not this Tuesday, it's downloaded to or uploaded. I don't know how that works. The audio version goes to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, UK, Podbean, a bunch of other podcast platforms. So if you want to be a guest, go email me at tnelson469@gmail.com, or private message the page here on Facebook. I think that's all I've got. Oh, no, it's not. We are currently non-monetized, so send stars so I can pay my producer. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Tapping is clapping. You want to watch more of our great content? Go to littlebobbybuzz.com, www.gfbestsource, or the Little Bobby Buzz on Facebook. Keep supporting these musicians so we can keep the music alive, and we'll see you next week with Bambi Alexandra. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Grand Forks Best Source. They're a cutting-edge local media broadcasting studio with captivating shows, on-location event coverage, and unparalleled advertising opportunities. Grand Forks Best Source has become a haven for podcasters like me seeking to bring their visions alive. If you're a podcaster looking for studio or platform, or a local business seeking to advertise, go ahead and email Paul at local@gfbestsource.com. You can call him at 701-740-9337, or you can go to their website that's listed on your screen there, gfbestsource.com. Tell them Mama T sent you.